What do you think about American immigration system? Let's first watch a short clip of Senator Durbin calls on Congress to increase the number of green cards available and eliminating the backlog 3 years ago, and see what he has to say about U.S. immigration system.
The reason I came to the floor was to discuss an issue which is not uniquely American, but truly American. For 528 years now, in this place called America, we have had immigrants coming to the shores of our nation. Starting with a fellow named Christopher Columbus, if you buy that side of the story, and I do, we've had millions come to our shores, and they have become part of America. With the exception of Native Americans and indigenous people, they come from every corner of this earth to be part of what we call the United States. You would think with that history that we would have a pretty clear idea of what our policy should be when it comes to immigration. Sadly, you're wrong. We have the most broken immigration system imaginable. I've studied it for years, continue to. It's almost impossible to understand all of the twists and turns in our immigration system.
In 1990, U.S. Congress established a numeric limit on the number of green cards that can be issued in the family and employment-based immigration categories each year. In some years, for various reasons, the full number of available green cards in a certain category are not issued, even though people are waiting to receive them. The Congress intended for all allotted green cards to eventually be issued and established a process for any unused green cards to roll over from one category to another the following year. The Departments of Homeland Security and the state determine the number of green cards available in both categories at the start of each fiscal year. The employment-based limit is calculated as 140,000 plus the number of family-based green cards that went unused the prior year, if any. The family-based category is slightly different. The limit is calculated as 480,000 minus the number of immediate relatives who were admitted prior year, plus the number of employment-based green cards that went unused the prior year. If the immediate relative reduction is significantly high, the statute provides a 226,000 minimum or floor, ensuring that the numeric limit will not be below that amount. From the formula of family-based green cards limit, you can tell Congress intended to roll over the unused employment-based green cards the prior year to family-based category the next year. Are available green cards allotted by Congress every year fully issued? The short answer is no. Why does it matter? Hi, this is Bond Immigration Channel. Welcome. In this video, I'm going to disclose the number of family-sponsored green cards that have been wasted in recent years by visa category. The waste of available green cards costs American families the wait time and social, economical, even political opportunities they could have otherwise. I will elaborate how the unused green cards correlates to the visa wait time of your visa type. I will also share the steps to effectively stop the waste of available green cards annually that hundreds and thousands of American families are waiting for. Who should take the steps, and what American petitioners can do to make a change. If you're interested to these topics, please watch to the end, and don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe. The first kind of waste lies in the scenario when the values in the family-based formula increase beyond what Congress likely anticipated. The formula failed to accomplish Congress's intent. The problem is in the sequence. The immediate relative totals are deducted before the unused employment-based numbers are added, negating the impact of the rollover. If the number of immediate relatives admitted is so high that formula returns to a total below the 226,000 floor, even with increases from an unused employment-based numbers, The unused employment-based green cards have no impact on the numerical limit and are essentially lost. Using fiscal year 2017 as example, 254,430 green cards were issued to the immediate relatives. The number is so high that after the immediate relatives deduction from 480,000, the formula returns to 225,570, which is below the 226,000 floor. Even with the increases from unused employment-based numbers that reach to 116K, the unused employment-based green cards from 2017 have no impact to the numeric limit in 2018 and are lost when the floor was kicked in. Let's temporarily put the unused employment-based green cards aside and look at the second situation of the waste, which is what I would like to focus on in this video, the unused family-sponsored green cards. In the past 10 years, from 2013 to 2022, the total number of unused family-sponsored green cards are add up to 833,000. I think it's worth pointing out that the unused family-sponsored green cards dropped significantly to just 281 in 2017 and 1,500 in 2018, the 10-year low. Zooming in to the period from 2019 to 2022, there were 34,000 family-sponsored green card unused in 2019. The number in this category almost sextupled in the following year when pandemic started in 2020 and octupled in 2021. Even in 2022, when pandemic impact is dying down, the number quintupled compared to 2019. The color of the bar represents a federal administration in this chart. In a 4-year time period from 2013 to 2016, the total number of unused family-sponsored green card were 168,000. In the following 4 years, from 2017 to 2020, the unused family-sponsored green cards were 225,000. From 2021 to 2022, for 2 years, the total number of unused family-sponsored green cards skyrocketed to 440,000. Let's slice the data into 2022. The year has just passed behind us. Out of 309,396 available family-sponsored green cards, only 156,800, or 51%, were issued, leaving 49% of the available green cards in this category unused. Breaking down 152,596 unused family-sponsored category into visa type, I found 6,355 F1s, 82,778 F2s, 30,132 F2Bs, 6,925 F3s, and 26,406 F4s green cards were unused in FY 2020. In this bar chart, the family-sponsored green card limit or ceiling is illustrated in blue line, and the minimum or the floor is in amber line. The number of green cards issued to F1, F2A, F2B, F3, or F4, which is illustrated in yellow bar, were below the minimum number of the green cards that Congress mandated in the Immigration Act 1990. Therefore, the floor was pierced. Why does green card waste ratio matter? How does it correlate to the visa interview wait time? Let me further explain using an oversimplified math behind it. First, let's look at the assumption. We assume zero green card waste ratio will lead to a normal visa wait time. I know there are other factors contributing to the wait time. To study the correlationship between green card waste ratio and, say, the visa bulletin final action wait time, I carve out other factors and use an oversimplified math model. According to the assumption, we can figure out if 50% of the available family-sponsored green cards are not used by the applicants in this category, it will lead to 2 times of the normal wait time on final action. And if 100% of the family-sponsored green cards are not used by applicants in the family reference category, it will lead to infinite wait time on final action. I calculated the unused over the available family-sponsored green cards in 2022 by family-sponsored preference. This is the waste ratio that I refer to in my math model. Failing to issue all available green cards exacerbates the issues in the immigration system, contributing to the growing backlog. An immediate and efficient first step to address backlogs would be to recapture previously unused green cards, making them available to individuals awaiting in the lines today. Green cards recapture would simply ensure that green cards that Congress had allocated in previous years end up being used per congressional intent and are not permanently lost. This would not increase immigration or authorize new green cards. Secondly, the Congress should also fix the formula so that, regardless of the number of immediate relatives admitted, unused employment-based green cards are added to the 226,000 family-based floor and rolled back to the employment category if not fully used. The third step to effectively reduce the backlog would be to simplify consular adjudication process and to eliminate interviews for more immigration categories. Who can fix the formula for unused green card rollover? The Congress is responsible for fixing the immigration law and the formula. Next, you may ask who can simplify consular adjudication process and eliminate interviews of documentarily qualified applications of more visa types. It is Department of State's job to simplify the adjudication process and clean up the backlog. 50% of the green card waste ratio is equivalent to 2 times of the wait time. Is there anything that American petitioners can do to help stop the waste of family-sponsored green cards, making available visas that were previously unused recaptured for the relatives abroad? The answer is yes. American petitioners can contact congresswomen or congressmen or senators in your locality and make them aware of the green card waste situation and ask them to consider fix the formula of the rollover and pass a bill to recapture the wasted green cards. I'm showing you an example of the senators' subcommittees that you can contact. What's on the screen is the United States Senate Judiciary Subcommittee on Immigration, Citizenship, and Border Safety. The judiciary responsibility of the subcommittee includes 1. Immigration, citizenship, and refugee laws. 2. Oversight of the Department of Homeland Security, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, and the immigration functions of U.S. Customs and Border Protection, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and Directorate of Border and Transportation Security. 3. Oversight of the immigration-related functions of the Department of Justice and the Department of State, the Department of Health and Human Services, Office of Refugee Resettlement, and the Department of Labor. 4. Oversight of international migration and refugee laws and policy. And 5. Private immigration relief bills. American petitioners can also send an inquiry to Department of State and ask them for their plan to clean up the immigrant visa backlog. American petitioners can also pay attention to and understand the immigration policy that congressional and the presidential candidates are leaning to during the election year and give your vote to the candidate who supports legal and effective immigration. Would you agree? Did you find any of the information discussed in the video new or interesting? Does any of these numbers surprise you or change your perception? Please share your thought in the comment area. Thank you for watching. Until next time, goodbye.